want to be aggressive. I love road games in the playoffs. I get up for those games, even more than home games. And I love the adversity that comes with it. I love going against the opposing fans, the opposing team, and everything that comes with it. So, for me, it was my approach. And, even though I missed some, very makeable layups early on, I just think my aggressiveness just started to, hit home for our team, and they just kind of just followed my lead after that. It's about the same. The uniforms are the same. Some of the players are different. Mostly all the players are different besides Brandon Bass being on some of those teams. But it's the same for me. I get great feelings. I get eerie feelings when I come in this building. I've been on both sides of the fences. Excuse me. And, it's the great thing about being here. These fans are they're loyal to one thing and one thing only, and that's green. And that's all they see, and that's all they care about. And for me being a competitor, for me being someone that they know personally, to be able to come out here and perform in front of those guys, it means a lot, because they know the game. They know basketball. They know sports. This is a sports town between them and the Patriots and the Bruins and the Red Sox. They know sports. So for me to be able to have some type of history in this city, it means a lot for my legacy.
The Celtics lose Game 3, 103-95 to the Cleveland Cavaliers. We are going to break it down here on the Garden Report on CLNS Radio and Celtics Blog, brought to you by Audible. Welcome to the show. I'm Jared Weiss. We're joined by Julian Edlow of WEEI and Zack of NESN. We are going to break this one down for you here on the Garden Report, brought to you by Audible, lynda.com, Peak Organic Brewing, and of course you can take our polls on the Reached app on your smartphone device. So let's break this one down here. LeBron James was magnificent. Everything that we remember about LeBron from when he was here last time with Miami in the playoffs wasn't 46 points, but it was still a pretty huge performance. He seemed to be physically just separating himself from the rest of the competition in this one, Julian.
Yeah, that's exactly what we expected coming into the series. How are the Celtics going to guard LeBron? They're going to throw a lot of bodies at him. Jay Crowder has done as best he can. Evan Turner's done as best he can. Jonas Jerebko got possessions on LeBron tonight. You give Marcus Smart, who's obviously undersized, a little time on him. The Celtics keep throwing bodies at him, but he's LeBron James. That's why the Celtics are such underdogs in this series. He can do what he wants. He shot 13 for 26, 31 points, 11 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 steals. What are you going to do?
He was everywhere today. He was exactly what Celtics fans think of when they think of LeBron. He just came in and they could not stop him. And the funny thing is, I don't even really feel like they're doing that bad of a job on him. He's just so much better. And he had 31 points tonight. He only hit 1 3-pointer. He was 1 for 5 from deep. So he was just getting in the lane all day. And we talked about how he made an impact everywhere. Of course, we're going to talk about that block he had on Evan Turner near the end of the game, which was one of the big kind of turning points that kind of stopped that Celtics rally there.
Let's talk about it now. The Celtics have been overachieving all year. They've been overachieving a little bit in the series. They were making a lot of runs tonight, and I think that goes back to what Game 2 guys were talking about, how the home team is usually going to make runs because they have the crowd behind them. We saw the Celtics doing that tonight. They were in the midst of what looked like to be that big run that kind of got them over the top to actually win Game 3. And then Evan Turner, I guess he got a little greedy there. He thought that he was going to be able to drive down the middle. He went for it, and it was a wide open lane, and then LeBron just steps in. Well, it was a wide-ish open lane. Yeah. He got into the paint pretty deep, and then LeBron just steps up and completely just smashes the ball away. It was beautiful.
Yeah. Not to put too much time on one play, but it was a momentum changer. Yep. Turner went up. Give him credit, but sorry, not even close.
And it's the second time he's done this. Correct me if I'm wrong, but he had the block on Tyler Zeller the other night, or was that Mozgov? Yeah, that was him. So it just shows how he impacts the game in so many facets. And you really have to be perfect to beat this. The Celtics have to be perfect to beat this Cavs team. And even if they are, they still might not have a chance to beat this Cavs team. It's crazy.
A couple of years ago, LeBron had the reputation as being the best all-around defender in the NBA, and I think people kind of forgot about that a little bit tonight. I think it's because he's reached, once you hit 30, you kind of can't really go all out every single play defensively. You've got to pace yourself. We saw Dwayne Wade doing that. We're seeing LeBron doing that. But in tonight's game, he was all over the place. His ball pressure was phenomenal.
Especially late. He dialed it in.
He really did. I mean, he jumped passing lanes so well. Huge reason the Cavs won this game was they were able to jump passing lanes in the fourth quarter. They got a lot of turnovers in the fourth quarter. Really, they played. I think both teams pretty much played as well as you're going to see them play. I know both teams aren't really shooting exceptionally well in the series, but for such a physical game, to have both teams really kind of going all out physically and speed-wise in the fourth quarter is basically what we wanted to see out of this game.
I mean, yeah, it was the Celtics are doing a great job staying in these games. I think we can say that about all the games. Game one was maybe a little bit more, unrealistic that they could win that game. But games 2 and 3, they've been right in to win. And what Zack said is exactly right. That's what I've been saying all along this series. The Celtics have to play a perfect game if they're going to get a game. And even if they do that, if LeBron and Kyrie both have good games, your perfect game might not be enough to win. Yep. A game like tonight, I thought a huge part of the game, Kyrie didn't have a good game. Kyrie, I'm trying to find his numbers. I think he had 13 points. He shot 3 for 11
in 40 minutes.
Yep. If you're the Celtics and you're going to steal a game, it's got to be you got to find a night that Kyrie or LeBron is off. Kyrie had a horrible game tonight. This has got to be the one you got to take. But Isaiah Thomas didn't have it himself. This was the one that they should have gotten. We'll see what they can do with their backs against the wall in Game 4, but they should have capitalized on Kyrie's bad game.
And it was a fantastic game tonight. It was a very exciting game. I mean, we had all the chippiness, all the kind of old school, like 1980s basketball kind
playoff
of stuff,
feel,
which was awesome. Yeah, it's something we haven't seen. We don't see all that much anymore. And the Celtics, I mean, though, we talked about those runs that really just destroyed them in the first 2 games. I feel like they actually did a relatively good job at kind of limiting those tonight. The only big one that stands out is the one right at the end of the end of the second quarter, which the Celtics were leading. Cavs scored the final 12 points, including 9 in I think a minute and 1 second, to just kind of vault back ahead at halftime, and it just took away all the momentum from them. And it just shows what this Cavs team can do.
And who had the last 6 points of that run in the second quarter?
That would be LeBron James.
LeBron James, indeed.
King James.
Really quickly before we go to part 2 here, and before you turn into Jimmy Toscano magically, Kevin Love finally had his big game. We were waiting for it to happen. He got in foul trouble in Game 2. He said he actually kind of was nervous in Game 1, which is both surprising and not surprising. But tonight he clearly wasn't nervous. He went 6 for 10 from deep. He had more 3-point makes tonight than 3-point attempts in each of the first 2 games. And it was pretty phenomenal the way he was shooting tonight. And he was still crashing the boards. And that's a big thing in this series, is Cleveland has 3 guys that are really good rebounders. That's really killing them. But let's just focus on Kevin Love, since I'm all over the place here. Zach, we'll start with you. Does Kevin Love look like the guy that's really turning the corner for the playoffs?
It's hard to say that after 1 game, but I mean, he did exactly what the Cavs need him to do tonight. I mean, he had more 3-point makes than the entire Celtics team did, and he was just killing them on that stand open in the corner, get the kick out, drain the 3. He was wide open on so many possessions tonight. And he was also crashing the boards. He finished with, I believe, it's 9 rebounds. He had a great, just all-around game. And like we were talking about before, the Cavs have so many weapons that Kyrie could have a lackluster, kind of unassuming game, and they can still pull it out with LeBron and with Kevin Love. And I mean, it's easily his best game of the series, and I think the Cavs have to feel great about him going forward here.
Yeah, I mean, this is what people wanted from Kevin Love when they were making him a part of this big 3. It's been a lot of LeBron and Kyrie. This is what Kevin Love can do when he's at his best. They were open shots, but he hit them. Yep. He played a great game tonight for the first time in the series. So props to him. I guess he was nervous. He got in foul trouble Game 2. This is what he's capable of, though. And just real quick, because I'm going to morph into Jimmy Toscano, as he said, what Zack talked about, that 9-point run in basically a minute to end the first half, that's amazing that a team, the Celtics, can play so well that whole first half, get that 4-point lead, and within a minute, you have LeBron James, boom, you're going in up 8 at halftime. That's ridiculous. And just another key that you guys are probably going to talk about in part 2, Tristan Thompson has 14 offensive boards through the first 3 games. I feel like I can remember every single one of them because they've all been so huge, and they've all gotten kicked out for a 3-pointer that's been knocked down, in my mind at least. I'm sure that's not true. But that's the way it feels. Tristan Thompson's been a huge part of this series when you factor in that, these last 2 games are 8 points. A couple of those offensive rebounds kicked out for 3s. Those are big differences in these games.
There's so much to get to. We're going to get to more
There
of it
is.
in part 2 here. Thanks for coming on for the first half here. We're going to have you for Sunday's episode, which
I'll be here
might
Sunday.
be our last of the season at least.
The
We'll
way
see.
things are going.
We'll see. All right, we'll be back for part 2. Just quick programming note here. Celtics Beat, we talk about it all the time. I host it occasionally. I'll be hosting it more this summer. This weekend, the guest will be JoJo White, NBA Hall of Famer. That's going to be
big
fantastic.
timer.
So be sure to listen to that. If you haven't listened to the Wick Grosbeck interview, you got to listen to that one as well, especially after the Celtics lost on their home court in front of Wick here against LeBron and the Cavs. So we'll be back for part 2 of the Garden Report.
Jared Weiss, CLNS Radio. You had more makes tonight than you had attempts in each of the first 2 games. Do you feel a momentum swing happening for you with your three-point shot?
It's just there. I felt like I played with a lot more confidence tonight. As I mentioned in the first game, it was getting that one underneath my belt. Thought I played pretty well. I thought our team played well. In the second game, it was just mucked up, got into foul trouble, and there's just not much you can do about that. But I thought we played really, really well tonight. Guys were shooting their shots. Some of them aren't going to go. Well, we were tested throughout each and every quarter, and when it came down to a 2 or 3 minute game, we were able to execute and pull it out.
Well, overall, Kevin has been great. Maybe he didn't score as much in the second game as he did tonight or in the first game, but he's been engaged at both ends. He's been rebounding. He's really been in the moment. I haven't seen any nervousness or discomfort in his play since the playoffs started. And, of course, that was the concern on the part of many, that could he and KYRIE step into their first playoff and play the kind of basketball that they normally do. And I think he has. No, I think we've played better games, but they were under different circumstances. This is the playoffs. We're playing a fine opponent. They're making it very difficult for us, challenging us, competing with us, and we're doing what we have to win. But it's not coming easy, and we're working very hard to be successful in this series, and I think that's a good thing because that that makes you stronger, and that's what you want.